Today I'm going to be making a soup for you, not using my Nutribullet Rx, but my Nutribullet 900 Pro. You could also use the regular classic, and of course you could use the RX, but this inspiration came from a fellow YouTuber who reached out a couple of weeks ago and said, hey, can I just put the ingredients in my Nutribullet and then place the items on the stove? And I said, yeah, that's actually a cool idea. So I got this from the Nutribullet Pro and Classic User Guide. It's on page 88. It's called Ginger Pea and Brown Rice Soup. If you did not buy neither one of these models because you have a different blender or something, you could also buy the Nutribullet Nature's Healing book, and it's on page 172. So let's just get into how I make this soup. Now I'm using the regular tall cup that comes with your Nutribullet. You also could use the colossal, but the tall cup is fine. I'm starting with 2 cups of frozen organic peas, 2 teaspoons of miso paste. Now you can get miso paste at Whole Foods or at Trader Joe's, or of course a specialty Asian market. I got mine from Amazon.com. This one was GMO, no GMOs, and it had no MSG. And I also like miso in bulk, so this is 2 pounds, and I know that's a bit much, but I love my miso. Oh, miso, you're so fine. Alright, sorry for that awkward singing, but back to the 2 teaspoons of miso. Especially if you're using 2 teaspoons instead of 1, I would not suggest adding any extra salt because there's a lot of salt in miso. Next, I'm going to have 3 large basil leaves. It says 10, but I've had this soup in the past and sometimes the basil can take over, so I'm just going to put 3 large leaves. Next, I'm going to have 1/4 teaspoon of black pepper. It's not in the book, but that's what I'm putting in my soup. You could put maybe about 1 inch of fresh ginger, or if you don't have fresh ginger, you could put, I would say, about 1/2 teaspoon to 1 teaspoon of ground ginger. You know that you're gonna have to tweak around with, but you can use fresh or grounded organic ginger. Now it says 1 tablespoon of green onion, but I'm going to use a little bit more than that. I am going to cut the soft parts of the green onion. Since this green onion didn't have a lot of large tops, I'm going to actually this one's good. Just the tops of the green onion. Then I'm just going to cut the bottom off and just place that on the side. We'll come back to that later. You're going to just roughly chop the rest of the green onion in the cup. Now if you're not big on onion taste, I would say use about half of what I use. Last but not least, you're going to use 1.5 cups of vegetable stock, low sodium. I got mine from Whole Foods. Now, as much as I am Trader Joe's biggest fangirl on the planet, Whole Foods vegetable broth tastes a lot better to me. That's just my personal preference, but this is my favorite vegetable broth. And of course, you could use your own homemade vegetable broth if you choose to. Using the extraction blade, you are going to put this on the base, twist and go, and you're going to mix it for about 30 to 45 seconds. Now before you put this on the stove, I would actually encourage for you just to try it. Make sure all the flavors are right, just in case you have to make some adjustments. Oh my gosh, it is fine. I'm not adding another thing to it. So what I need you to do at this point is just to add it on the stove for about 2 or 3 minutes on a medium-high heat, and you might just make sure it's not burning. You don't have to stir it, but just heat it up. In the meantime, as we're waiting for our peas to heat up, remember the tops 2 are green onions. I'm just going to use some herb scissors, and I am going to cut this up for garnish and additional flavor. Right, so we're going to do that real quick. So there's our garnish, and that's what it looks like. If you don't have the herb scissors, just use regular kitchen scissors. You're also going to add 1/2 cup of brown rice or quinoa, because I've had this with quinoa before. place that on the side while you're waiting for this to heat up. Okay guys, I slightly overcooked it because I walked away, even though I told you not to walk away. I walked away. So this is serving for about two people at 1 cup each. So you're gonna put about 1 cup of this lovely peach soup with your ½ cup of grains. I use brown rice, but like I said earlier, Kim was really great. Your little garnish, you're gonna put your green tops on top, and then hopefully I won't burn my mouth during my taste test time. Oh my god. Oh my god. As it's cooked, you're going to taste a little bit more ginger. So if you're not big on ginger, because this is a ginger pea soup, then put a little less. But this is so good. Highly recommended. It's much easier to cook it this way than how they suggested in the book. You got to cook the peas for 10 minutes, wait till it cools, blah blah blah. No one has that kind of time. You have a Nutribullet. Let's make life easier. And like I said, you don't have to have the RX or Nutribullet Vitamix to make this work. It's, you know, as long as you have a high-speed blender, this could happen for you. I love this soup. This has been my favorite from the beginning. So look out for other recipes from the Nutribullet cookbooks. And until my next post, Gadget Trish is out. Hope you enjoyed. Bye.